Technology, defined by Britannica as the means or activity by which man seeks to change or manipulate his environment. The technology that we'll be focusing on today is a film screenplay. We'll detail the historical evolution of the technology, but to truly understand the film screenplay, we have to go back to the beginning. The function of a screenplay is to act as a sort of blueprint to the story. The first use for this blueprint, you could say, would be in Greece, with the script for a play, and properly more well known would be in the early modern period with a Shakespeare play. Shakespeare is often claimed as the first real screenwriter due to his highly visual way of writing and his relatively short scenes. The very first film that was ever made was in 1878 and was called The Horse in Motion. A lot of these earlier films only usually had one shot and didn't really have that detailed of a plot, usually only having one action take place. So a screenplay wasn't really that necessary. The earlier films tended to just have synopsises instead of actual screenplays due to their short length of usually 40 seconds. A good example of this is Thomas Edison's 1897 film Pillow Fight, where the synopsis is 4 young ladies in their nightgowns are having a romp. One of the pillows gets torn, and the feathers fly all over the room. The first real screenplay would be George Méliès's 1902, A Trip to the Moon. As this film was much more than a synopsis, it actually included the directions for both the cast and the crew. The film, however, did not include any dialogue in the screenplay, and this was obviously due to sound not yet existing for films yet. The screen directions would not only include directions for where the characters would move and how they would gesture, but it was also for the camera. How would the camera move? What would the shot be? Which is unusual for a modern-day script. In the following year of 1903, the film The Great Train Robbery was released. This film screenplay would be the first to use the master scene format. The script was divided into scenes, with each scene having a number, and with every numbered scene having a heading stating where it was located, and then that heading would be followed up by the actions that are in that scene. This is still used today in modern scripts. Quite a bit after, there was a man named Thomas Ince who wanted to revolutionize the film industry, being inspired by Henry Ford, wanting to apply scientific principles to film. He birthed what was called the continuity script. The continuity script included things such as the camera equipment required, the characters in the scene, the interior and the exterior, and the cost. In the 1920s, there was a new addition to film known as sound. Sound in film would be first implemented in the film The Jazz Singer, released in 1927.
Wait a minute, you ain't heard nothing yet. Wait a minute, I tell you, you ain't heard nothing. You want to hear toot-toot-tootsie? All right, hold on.
With a new addition of sound, screenplays would now have to implement dialogue into their scripts. Screenplays would change once more, with the intention of making it easy to read. This new form of screenplay would be called the master scene script. A shooting script would then be made, and this would include camera shots, costs, and production involved things. So the scripts were separated by the more story-relevant script, and then later the more production-related script. The master scene script is still what is used today, with very minor changes from when it was first made. For the master scene script, there are 6 main tools which you must use: the scene heading, the action, the character and dialogue, parentheticals, and also the transitions. The scene heading is in all caps. It will say whether it is interior, abbreviated to INT, or if it is an exterior, abbreviated to EXT. It'll have a full stop, and then it will say which location that scene is located in, and then there'll be another full stop or a dash, and then it will say what time of the day it is, whether it is day, night, evening, or various other times. The action are the descriptions of what the audience will see and hear, which isn't dialogue. When writing dialogue, it is always put into the center. The character's name that is speaking the dialogue comes first, in all capitals, and then in the next line is the dialogue. The dialogue must take up 1/3 of the page and be in the middle. A parenthetical can be placed between the lines for the character name and the dialogue. Inside the parenthetical, you can add a multiple amount of things, such as the emotion a character is conveying, or an action that they may be doing while speaking the dialogue. There are also transitions, which are placed at the end of a scene on the right side of the page. They can be cut tos, fade-ins, and a plethora of other things. It used to be commonplace in the old era of filmmaking for cut tos to be used for every transition to every scene, but nowadays that is not used as much. To showcase these tools which are needed in a screenplay, I'm going to show you a scene from Interstellar, the 2014 movie directed by Christopher Nolan. It's from a YouTube channel called From Script to Screen, where they compare the film with its script counterpart.
Any trick to this, Doyle? No one knows. Now the others made it, right? At least some of them. Everybody ready to say goodbye to our solar system? To our galaxy. Here we go. Controls won't work here. We're passing through the bulk, space beyond our 3 dimensions. All you can do is record and observe. What is that?
It's them.
Distorting space-time. Don't!
What was that?
First handshake.
Although the principles of making a screenplay hasn't really changed in over 80 years, the way to make one has changed. In the early days of writing screenplays, they would use typewriters, but this would take a lot of time, as every single copy of the script would have to be handwritten. And if there was ever a mistake, you would have to go back and fix every mistake individually. But thanks to technological advances, they were able to use computers, which only meant they needed to make one copy, and they could print off the other copies. But there was still the problem of the tedious amount of work with the formatting, as you needed the action and the dialogue to be in its precise place. But due to the internet, now digital software which helps you format your scripts is now available to everyone. These digital software programs include Movie Magic Screenwriter, Celtx, Faden, Writer Duet, and the industry standard being Final Draft. And thank you for watching this video and going through the evolution of screenplays.